Hello, everyone. Let's cheer up for Joe Justice, a very, very joyful person. He's a contamination me, a very active person in the Agile for hardware community. He performs as a CEO of the prototyping and automotive manufacturing company, Wikispeed, with activities in 23 countries. He is also an interim executive for Scrum in hardware and a frequent TEDx speaker. I really don't want to take too much of his time. Joey, I know you have much to say about agile in manufacturing. Let me stop here and let the participants see what you have prepared for them. Just one last bit of information. You should really pay attention to what Joey is going to say. He has an amazing news to share with you at the end of his presentation. Joey, the stage is yours.
Bonjour. You are so kind, Iseme. Thank you. Maybe sharing looks okay, I hope. Thank you so much, Business Agility Conference, Paris. It is my honor and pleasure to talk about Agile hardware. In 2006, I started an open source sharing economy automotive manufacturing company. This was covered by WeShare in France and brought me to UNESCO World Heritage Headquarters in Paris. In 2012, we started accepting alternative currency. We were the first automotive company to accept Bitcoin. In 2020, I joined Tesla, now the world's most valuable automobile company. I operated Agile at Tesla, at this company. This year, I was able to write about what I learned in these experiences. And just today, the French language preview of the book has been published on LeanPub. It is free for today, the first 60 pages en français and espagnol. I will share the links, but you can also see them here. Please join me in celebrating the debut of the French and Espanol version of the books on LeanPub. I've been lucky to work with Agile hardware with Bosch in Germany and with Toyota in Japan and Volkswagen in Germany and Tesla in the United States. All of the executives agree the purpose of Agile hardware is faster innovation. Now, it's sustained innovation. So the developers must stay happy and must not burn out, must not overwork too much. So it's increasing the sustainable pace of innovation. Most companies before have a phase process, a waterfall process. In a phase process, change is expensive. And if we learn something at a later phase, we must restart to take advantage of the learning. Melvin Conway understood this in 1967, saying, looking at a product, we can see how the people inside the company talk to each other. We know, are they collaborating? And we know if they are not collaborating, even just by looking at the product they make. I would like to share what Agile new product introduction really looks like in hardware. This is much of what I did with Team Wikispeed and then at Tesla. If we look at the manufacturing, where we're building a car, product comes in to our part of the factory. So we have some car parts. And in our part of the factory, we create value-added steps. Maybe we attach parts together, maybe we install parts. And then those car parts continue on to another part of the factory. We have a definition of ready to check that the parts that have arrived will work for us, and a definition of done to check that the parts we've worked are ready for the next step. We have a small, co-located, collaborative, self-organized team that completes the value add steps from the definition of ready to the definition of done. So how do we do new product development? We have an Agile cell and we install a router. A router in the factory is a robot. The robot is controlled by our phone or a tablet. And we will branch, we will divert one car. Then we have another router to branch or divert one car in. Now we have one car in a new Agile cell. And a small, co-located, self-organized team will make changes. They will make new product, like a heated charging port, or a new battery cathode, or a more efficient heat pump. Whenever one car meets the definition of done, it is branched back into the process and sold that day. This is so fast, there are new car parts sold to real customers about every 3 hours. There's no design phase, there's no test phase. There's constant new product introduction in these Agile cells. Once these Agile cells have one new good achievement, advancement on sale, then their job is to ramp up. This is what Elon Musk calls the production ramp, increasing how many cars this new Agile cell can produce. Once 100% of the total traffic, the total volume of the factory goes through the new cell, that is now the official new model. For this reason, you can buy 2 Teslas 3 hours apart and have different parts installed on the car, different capabilities. One might be even more efficient than the last. This means every single car must go through certification testing. This is where autopilot came from. We call it factory mode. It means every car puts itself through every non-destructive certification test as it's being built. So every car is certified as it's being built. Here is what it really looks like. These small, co-located, self-organized, self-managing teams operate Agile cells with many robots. It's heavily automated. These robots will be holding new parts 3 hours from now. So the robots have flexible hands, so they can hold new parts, and machine learning, so they can explore and understand how to hold the new parts. The parts have interfaces, so they can match, they can connect together. The interfaces can change at any time as long as the teams on both sides of the interface agree on when the interface will change. Automation in software and hardware and management with test in the loop is, in fact, the answer. Humans are for creative problem solving. Automation is for everything else. I was lucky enough to be a Scrum Master for Bill Gates at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill would start every single meeting by saying, how much of this can we do in parallel? I have built this into Agile hardware, and it looks a lot like the Spotify model, where we have parallel executable module teams, where they don't wait on central services. Many hardware companies have central procurement. Every team has to wait in line for procurement. This is too slow and not what Bill Gates was trying to teach me. In companies like Tesla, teams have their own procurement and their own financial authority, so they don't have to wait in a central queue. I call this group Scrum and the WikiSpeed model. I was lucky to work with the leadership team at Amazon. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, is very strict about small team sizes, 3 to 9 people. This makes collaborative conversation for group problem solving comfortable. I was able to build Agile hardware around small, co-located, self-organizing, self-management teams. These teams are supported by company as a service teams for factory service, coffee service, funding service. Each module works completely independently without waiting on each other, while being served by the company as a service teams. The company as a service teams use a service level agreement so they can keep up with the module teams. SpaceX works the same way. Here is a sprint review of the Falcon Heavy rocket. This extra large project is made out of 3 large projects, 3 Falcon 9s that are built at the same time, and they're also designed at the same time. A Falcon 9 rocket is made out of 9 Merlin engines. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has said no 2 Merlin engines have ever been made the same way. They are all new product development. SpaceX now can make a Merlin engine about every 24 hours, including design. This is because of heavily automated design tools and real-time automated validation. Most of the Merlin engine is 3D printed overnight. I will encourage you to read Paolo Samichelli's book, Scrum for Hardware. There's a free link on this slide. This book is available in Italian and English. Also, please consider my book. This takes you through new Agile development to entire Agile transformation. Chapter 16 is how to convert an entire existing company like Renault to fast Agile hardware development and software, if that's what you want to do. As of today, the first 60 pages are available for free in French and in Spanish. The Japanese version was just published 2 weeks ago. I'm very happy to be working globally all over the world supporting with these books. The URLs are right here. You can take a picture if you like. This is free for today. Thank you. I'm Joe Justice. I'm the creator of the Agile Hardware Guide, and I would love to find what questions you might have about your agility, your Agile transformation, and maybe even your group Scrum. It is an honor for me to collaborate with the Parisian Scrum groups, Agile groups, XP groups, and Lean Agile procurement. Thank you very much, and I would love to hear what questions we might have together.
Thank you, Joe. That was a lovely presentation. And I have to say, every time I hear you, I learn something new, and I have many, many more questions. But let's give a shot to our attendees' questions. First one is, in the 4 companies presented in your previous slide, which one was more difficult to deploy for Agile deployment?
In many ways, Tesla is the most challenging because they're already so agile. So increasing the speed of innovation is so difficult. They're already so fast. In another way, Robert Bosch GmbH is the most difficult because many European laws are restricting the movement of leaders for some types of agile innovation. In other ways, Toyota is the most challenging because people in Toyota are promoted based on their age, not based on performance. So it is difficult to create a culture that's focused on speed of innovation when many people are simply comfortable. It is true. Then in some ways, the most difficult company is ING Bank. ING Bank is arguably a very successful agile transformation, but has all of the laws restricting financial transactions. So all of the laws about safe financial transactions in the European Union need to be analyzed before large changes are made to the company structure. Now, Volkswagen Group is currently undergoing a massive agile acceleration. And in some ways, they're the most difficult because they have so many years of excellent engineering history. But some new processes need to be learned. How to take more than 100 years of inertia and practices and be comfortable learning something new so quickly. In some ways, this is the most difficult.
Thank you. Talking about Tesla, there's a question about who decides on definition of ready and definition of done. Is it Elon Musk who makes all the decisions?
I was responsible for many of the definition of ready and definition of done as the operator of Agile at Tesla. That was primarily me. That said, I would ask everyone for help, Elon or anyone. But ultimately, many times I was responsible for if it was accurate or useful definition of ready or definition of done. But I will say I crowdsourced that responsibility from everyone who would help me.
How did you manage to get so many people involved in building the Wikispeed car?
I truly believe morale is a multiplier of velocity. And if we're having a lot of fun, more people are interested. Also, there is a key agile practice that is a product owner's job, and that is making something ready. In Wikispeed, I called it kitting, making something like a kit. So my job, before I would open the doors and pour the beer and the wine and put out the cheese tray and say, please come help me. Before this, I would clean, I would check if I had good tools that people wanted to use. I would arrange them attractively. I would order material and make it easy to see. I would make it ready. I would kit it, make it look like a kit ready to be built. And then I would ask for help. This reduced everyone's frustration and made it more fun. Then it was easy for me to get the help I needed. Also, open source principles helped so much. Learning from the Linux community and the Wiki community and Wikipedia on what made authors want to contribute and then stay and contribute more. Let me know more about how to make it easy or fun to understand what is helpful. And fast feedback made people want to come again. If no one told them if they did a good or a bad job, people would become frustrated and not come back. If someone, usually me, was very quick to let them know if they met the definition of done or not, they were more relaxed and more likely to come and help again. And in this way, Team Wikispeed grew to more than 4,000 people all around the world.
A question from Ugu. I hope I'm not perverting his name and I'm pronouncing it correctly. What if I, as a customer, ordered something and didn't get it? Or I'm unhappy with what I got?
I'll use Tesla as an example, although I didn't hear which company was being specified. When you join Tesla, your phone becomes populated with custom apps. And these apps give you real-time feedback on what is happening in Tesla. And a very fun app, by the way, is a master key that lets you summon or remote control every car in the factories. So this is also a very cool app that you get. But for your question, an app is real-time analytics, real-time data. And if any customer declines a car is attempted to be delivered and they say no, the customer says, I don't want it. That is one of the worst types of failures that can happen. All of your apps signal you. Every monitor across all the Tesla factories signal you. And a root cause analysis is automatically conducted, largely with machine learning. Humans then engage in the machine learning to resolve the problem immediately, whether it was a failed part install or a paint mistake or whatever the problem could be. The whole company reorganizes and pivots in less than 5 seconds, really, to address the root cause. And this is guided by machine learning. To go as fast as Tesla, 3-hour hardware sprints, there is a lot of machine learning that helps guide and focus large groups of people very quickly. So in many ways, Agile hardware really is an IT project.
That is so amazing. Question from Moira. Impressive. I wonder, how did you manage the relationship with annual processes like budgeting, HR, evaluation? How do you manage to get them on the Agile journey?
Awesome question. So a company like Tesla was already very agile by the time I entered. So let's talk about a company like Toyota. Typically, they need a backlog of how to move from where they are legally and comfortably to an increased state of agility. So creating this backlog is made often through something called a leadership workshop. And many people in this event and in France and all over the world are probably very good at it. I also do it. It's where we would meet with leadership of a group and collaboratively create the backlog together to move towards a faster pace of innovation. This is done in cycles, releases. We can call them sprints if we like. And the more sprints, the higher the pace of agility. The destination you need to already have in your mind before we start a leadership workshop. So for procurement, I work with Mirko Kleiner and the Lean Agile Procurement Group in Europe. For Agile HR, I work with professionals like Rina Hellström, also based in Europe. They will create the definition of done for really effective Agile HR or Agile procurement. Then a leadership workshop with the leaders in that group creates the backlog to incrementally move towards that good destination. Now, to get them excited, really often it's food, good music, try to make it fun. A lot like Wikispeed, really. So there's a lot of sparkling wine and really good coffee, sometimes nice cheese or little sandwiches or desserts.
Thank you for your answer. Question from Christophe. Did you really try it with Renault? Renault being a French car manufacturer.
I did meet with some of the leadership team, I shouldn't say that, a senior management team in Renault. And in that meeting, we discussed moving towards very high levels of agility. I have not engaged more closely since then. It is possible Renault is already quite advanced, but I have not been in close contact since that senior management meeting. I hope it's already growing, I hope.
We hope so too. Question from Groen. When can we get our hands on the English version of your book?
As an author, that is such a kind question. Thank you for asking. The English version and Japanese version are on Amazon now, including Amazon FR, Amazon France. The Spanish and French version are only in preview, the first 60 pages, and they are on LeanPub and free now in preview. But the full English version and Japanese version are on Amazon and LeanPub now. I would be honored for you to try the book. I would love your feedback. And if any part of it is useful to you, I am very happy.
Thank you. We are at the end of our session today. Thank you, Joy. It was a really interesting session and a really interesting talk with you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for being here with us today. We wish you good luck. I have to say that your Scrum Master course is really amazing. It is about hardware and stuff, so it is really interesting. We have to stop now. Thank you again. And for the other participants, thank you. It is time to move to our workshops. We can meet on Willow, the same link that you used today. So let's meet there, everyone, and thank you. Bye.